Watching and connected, but it's never enough. Talking with our friends about our favorite things. TV shows and movies and some random swearing. Hey! 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 This is the pretty, this is the little, this is the pretty little podcast.
Salutations, all you visually appealing, short-statured humans. Welcome to the Pretty Little Podcast. I'm your host, Maxwell Tuttle, and gracing us with her beauty is Henrietta Bartholomew. Henrietta, say hello.
Hello?
Could you imagine if that's what this was?
Is this what you spend your time doing? I'm
Yes.
like baking and doing stuff for my publishing
I thought
house.
of that
and
in
you're-
the shower.
No, that's definite shower thoughts.
That's shower behavior for sure.
For sure.
No, I was just like, could you imagine
What?
if that's what this podcast had to be? Just like the corpo talk,
Like
speak.
Or like the fake NPR style.
Right.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now a word from our sponsor, Company Business Solutions. If your company or business has problems,
We have
Company
the
Business
solutions.
Solutions has the solutions for you. With their award-winning team of solutionists. Yeah,
Professional solutionists are just a phone call away.
exactly. What are we talking about today, Henrietta?
Okay, I'm not Henrietta, but okay, sure, we'll call that an intro. Today we're talking about Ren and Stimpy. The Ren and Stimpy Show, commonly referred to as simply Ren and Stimpy, is an American animated comedy television series created by John Krasluski?
Chris Falusi.
Chris Falusi. Well, God forbid I offend any John K fans out there. Oh no!
We're going to talk about that.
I don't want to. For Nickelodeon, the series follows the misadventures of Ren Hork, an emotionally unstable and psychotic Chihuahua dog, and Stimpy, a good-natured and dim-witted Manx cat. Originally produced by Spoonco, the series was shown on Nickelodeon from August 11th, 1991 to December 16th, 1995, with its last episode running on MTV on October 20th, 1996, spanning a total of 5 seasons and 52 episodes or 93 segments.
Now, if you ask hardcore fans of this series, they'll say that this only had 2 seasons.
It's certainly only 2 good-to-watch seasons.
It seems like every classic episode that stands out in your mind were in seasons 1 and 2.
I had no idea until
There's a
we
reason.
went to rewatch for this episode, because Ren and Stimpy is something that if you are of an age, you loved this.
You couldn't really
it doesn't
escape
matter. Yeah, sure.
I mean, and when this came out, I first found out about Ren and Stimpy through the comic books. This was after the TV show was already a thing, but I remember going to the comic book store with my dad and picking up the first issue of Ren and Stimpy just because it looked interesting, and
Sure.
it was polybagged, and it had a little, what they call an air fouler in it. It was instead of an air freshener.
Oh, just like the stinky scratch and sniff.
Yeah,
stuff.
one of those little things you hang on your car.
Yeah,
rearview
like the
mirror.
trees or whatever.
Yes, but depending on which one you got, it was either shaped like Ren or Stimpy.
Ah, the 90s.
Yes, this definitely... look, Ren and Stimpy, the humor in this is extremely gross. It's definitely of the era. I wouldn't say that it invented the gross out humor, but it definitely benefited from it.
Well, I think it took it to a different level, and it also introduced it to an entirely new demographic of children, mainly. I mean, I found out about this through my dad because this is actually one of the 3 original Nicktoons, along with Doug and Rugrats.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, my father fucking loved Rugrats. I don't know why. It was
There's just
fine.
something about
but-
Rugrats that transcends...
I guess
age.
that's one I haven't gone back and watched since I was a kid. So, but Nicktoons was a regular thing in that household. So that's where, yeah. And man, I had toys. I had the log board game. The game was fun. You had to create panels of the comic. There were different puzzle piece type things in a box with a bunch of fake log pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to draw your take turns drawing your hands in and try and create the comic that you'd selected and stuff like that.
I never knew that was a game.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
It was fun for what it was.
Yeah,
If you were smart, you could tell when you found the piece because you could like feel with your hands. But
sure.
I don't think my sister ever figured that out, but I did. Miraculously, I always won.
This series came out at a time like 1991. We did not have cable in our house at that point.
Mm-hmm.
My friends did. I had family members that had cable.
Yeah, my dad did. My mom did not.
So the first place I saw Ren and Stimpy was the comic books. And then, from there, my friends knew about Ren and Stimpy. I would watch it at their house. My mom, sometimes she would leave me with my aunt when she and my stepdad.
Your aunt would let you watch Ren and Stimpy?
Yeah.
I know her. That's kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, she was way cooler than you think.
Well, hey, no, I love that woman. But it's kind of surprising. If you had
cable and you watched Nickelodeon, it was very hard to escape because this was an immediate success.
Yeah.
And they ran it constantly.
Yeah, but apparently only the first couple of seasons. Because, like, so much of seasons 3, 4, and 5 that full disclosure, we stopped watching. I was like, this isn't fun. I don't want to do this. Yeah. So we did not watch all 5 seasons.
We might as well get into it.
Okay.
The creator, John Crispolucci, or John K. as he goes by. I mean, before his scandals with the grooming and all that, he was kind of a pain in the ass for the FCC, especially at the time, because his mentors were Bob Clampett and Ralph Bakshi.
Oh,
so
really?
Bob Clampett did a whole bunch of the Looney Tunes stuff.
I don't know who Bob
created,
Clampett is.
Beanie and Cecil.
Oh, did he?
And
So that's where like the 50s style stuff comes in, and then the more gross out,
adult
sexually whatever
comes
from
Bakshi. The Ralph Bakshi influence.
Interesting.
So he.
Okay, no, that actually totally makes sense.
Inject a whole bunch of adult humor into this that the FCC and the execs at Nickelodeon just really weren't interested in having.
Like this type of thing wouldn't be shown today. I'm surprised that it definitely couldn't. It wouldn't be made today. If so, it would be on I don't know, maybe some streaming service, but not for children.
He was kind of a pain in the ass for the executives, and one of them he had befriended, and she was kind of like his middleman, if you will, because she really
got to make the excuses.
Pretty much. She saw the genius of what he was doing.
Right.
And the executives were kind of pissed off that it was pushing too far with the comedy, the humor, the gross shit, the adult suggestive material that's in it.
Well, yeah, and apparently he had a lot of trouble hitting deadlines too.
Yes, as well. So that was just all because he was insanely anal about how this series was handled. Mm-hmm. They said it was kind of a fascistic approach, if you will, because he did see this as his creation, and he wanted it done his way, which was the only correct way.
Well, but arguably Mike Judge, who we did, Beavis and Butthead, he is Beavis. Well, literally the voices, but I mean, he was the one. He is the creative vision for that, and you can't have Beavis and Butthead without him.
Right, but he was notorious for making animators redo animation, different aspects of the show, even though he knew that it was most likely going to get cut due to the FCC regulations and shit like that.
I see both sides of that. You can't do that, but I understand as a publisher, as a writer myself, as someone who does graphic design and shit, I totally understand that need for perfection of your vision coming across exactly as you envision it. But at some point, man, it's just you're still gonna hit your deadlines.
His approach of getting the final product out there, I mean, you have to look at it as a catch-22 because it's because of him that this was a success.
Right.
I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. And there's very evident signs of this once you get into season 3, because once they fired him from the show and it was taken over by other people that were involved that were just doing exactly what Nickelodeon wanted them to do, you could tell that the series took a definite hit when it came to the quality of the animation.
It's just not funny. It's not entertaining. Period. It just became, Ren and Stimpy has never been high art, right? And it's never been overtly intelligent in its thought and all of that.
This is very dumb.
But it's dumb done smartly. in the first couple of seasons. After that, it really is just stupid. Like, I was sitting there and I was like, this isn't funny. What is this shit?
Right. And by the way, we were watching this on Paramount Plus, which is not the ideal way to watch this, because
they had episodes missing.
Half of the episodes are missing from this series completely.
Episodes, I was like, no, I know. Where is this particular episode?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is one of those series that we just don't own on DVD.
But luckily for Chad, especially, or I'm sorry, what the hell was your name?
Maxwell Tuttle.
So sorry, Mr. Tuttle. My brain and the way it works, the good chunk of season 1 and season 2 is just permanently in my brain. So I could just perform it if you needed, and that's the shit I had no idea was still in there. But I know every little bit of everything. Yeah, it's crazy.
Much like you, like I didn't benefit from having cable in my home, but I would record episodes at my aunt's house, or my friend's house, or whatever. So there were
it was constantly on.
It did seem like it was the first 2 seasons that I had on VHS that I was just watching over and over, and that's like, I mean, they're not all bangers, but the ones that are way better than any other episode in the series. Period.
Yeah,
it really sucks.
It was very dismaying to realize that such a person really did make such a huge difference in what I remembered as loving as a kid. Because I was super excited to do this episode. It's still a mixed bag because of the creator. But I was still like looking forward to going back and, watching everything. And hell yeah, man, I used to love this. I had the dolls, we had a Ren one and a Stimpy one, and you squeeze their tummies and, they'd make fart noises and,
Yeah, their eyes bug
all that
out.
And yeah. And like Ren and Stimpy, for better or worse, was a big part of my childhood for a while. So I was super excited. And at first it was great. I was like, oh, hell yeah, banger, banger, banger. And then all of a sudden, because I didn't know about this, like him being fired and all that shit. So when all of a sudden we went through like 3 or 4 episodes, and I didn't laugh once, and I was like, I don't want to watch. What the fuck is this?
Right, and Chris Falusi was the original voice of Ren.
Yeah,
with Billy West voicing Stimpy, and then once he was fired, Billy West took over both roles.
Billy West making his triumphant return to the podcast.
It's subtle.
He does a good job.
It's probably the best job you could do. Ren, his voice was modeled after Peter Lorre, the old, like, not silent film, but black and white era film star.
Yeah.
He did a lot of like mobster movies and things like that.
Monster movies and stuff like that.
And then, of course, Stimpy was modeled after Larry Fine of the Three Stooges. It was just a more exaggerated
I see
version
that.
of Larry.
I don't like the Three Stooges.
I know.
Larry?
Yeah.
The one with the hair that played the violin?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So already you've got like these characters that are very, very unique, but oddly familiar. Well,
it's that classic, like, skinny man, fat man comedy duo, one smart, one stupid. You see that throughout from Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy. You've got, or if you want to go more serious, even like Of Mice and Men, it's a very similar straight man, funny man, thin man, fat man, smart man, stupid man. Like that, we see that throughout all entertainment, and it's that type of thing.
Yeah,
too.
and I mean, Ren and Stimpy itself, like it does not have a 90s vibe. It has like a 50s vibe.
Yeah, for real.
Maybe a 60s.
Yeah.
Just with the animation, the way it's done.
Some of the character, like if the women are pretty, they're straight out of like a 1940s magazine.
Right. And then things that are ugly are just like uncomfortably ugly.
I have never felt older than watching some of this shit. And like there's a specific episode that we skipped past because we both were like, I don't want to watch that again.
Yeah.
I remember at the time.
If you've never watched this and you're going to go watch it on our recommendation, just know like part of the identity of this show, they really were pushing the boundaries of what animated,
it's very gross out
television
like purposefully
was.
So yeah.
And they constantly went outside of their budget, and it shows, especially with those first
like
2
the
seasons.
Close-ups, you mean?
Just the style of the animation. Yes, those are one of the aspects of it. But what I mean is that there were no model sheets for the characters, and that was on purpose because John Kay did not want these characters looking the same in every scene. He wanted their faces to contort differently, or the way that they're standing still to look different. And every time you saw them, he wanted them to have this different feel to them.
It's very obvious.
So there was no reused animation, which is just kind of unheard of at this point in time, because that was just the quickest way to save money. Is Hanna-Barbera did this shit where they would reuse animation constantly. They reused like background animation anytime characters were running.
Sure.
And you
it just makes sense.
Right.
If you're supposed to be, hitting your deadlines and getting things out.
Exactly. Which is very important, especially to the company that's paying you to produce your shit. But and watching this, it does feel very unique with the style of animation that they're doing, even when it came to things in like theaters, like theatrical cartoons.
Sure.
Like I wouldn't put this up against Disney at the time or anything like that.
Well, you can't. It's hard to compare the two because
the quality of those first two seasons are undeniably awesome.
Yeah,
and like you had mentioned, they also had a staff of people on the crew that weren't really animators. They were more, I guess you would say, like fine artists. They did painting and things like that. So
you do get those stills from time to time that are like actually
a close up.
Yeah.
Or like where a background has to take place like inside their mouth or like on their foot or something. Those were always painstakingly painted by like really professionally talented artists.
Well, and the crazy thing about it is some of these shots, not just the close-ups, but there's a certain stylized, like I think of some of the shots like when Stimpy's making the Happy Happy Joy Joy helmet and stuff like that. Like it's objectively beautiful. Like the composition, the colors, all of this. I don't mean the gross out close-ups because that's totally different, which I assume that's where SpongeBob got the idea, because that's something SpongeBob does too. Like the close-ups, they're not as gross, but like
SpongeBob,
super detailed and shit like that.
The creator of SpongeBob, I think he's gone on record saying that Ren and Stimpy, like those specific elements of SpongeBob, were directly influenced.
It's
by
obvious,
yes,
right? But like that one episode in particular is just so fucking gross that like I don't want to watch it. It made me cringe as a kid. Ren's toothache.
Yeah, and there's an episode where Ren finds out that like hairballs are like valuable now because they're like a new source of insulation and they're high in fiber and all this.
That was not in the second season.
And so he starts making Stimpy produce hairballs, but in order to do that, he has to
keep
ingest hair. So he starts by licking his own hair, and then he licks the hair off of Ren, and then he ends up having to lick the hair off this big hairy dude that's working in their warehouse.
I'm going to gag thinking about it, and I was not watching that episode. I heard it, and it's
very, very gross.
Like I said, I've never felt older or less cool because I'm like, this should not be for children.
But yeah, just the way that they have those very highly detailed close-ups of something with the tongue rubbing against it.
Stop!
It's visceral. It's extremely visceral to watch some of this
It's
stuff.
effective.
Yeah. But as a kid, it didn't bother me near as much as it does now.
The nerve endings in Ren's teeth bother, or gums, the holes poking. That bothered me as a kid, and him pulling them out.
Whatever they're trying,
what the fuck, man?
Whatever they're trying to convey, they're always trying to push it to 11.
But it does speak to. I mean, there's something there that they are able to hit that very primal something of you know,
and like I said, this was a catch-22 for
who even thought of that?
For the TV execs, because on the one hand, they had this massively popular show that was putting them on the map and making them shitloads of money.
Well, yeah, again, one of the original
fighting with the creator to stay within the lines that the FCC were making them stick.
But then it was popular because it was pushing the lines.
Yes, exactly. So they knew if they neutered the show, they were going to lose viewers.
Sure.
So the trade-off was that he was made to have heartwarming episodes to counterbalance the.
But
the
even still, their idea of
ones.
Heartwarming episodes are
exactly so. John Kay, being who he is, his idea of doing a heartwarming episode was to make something so ridiculous, but make it as overly
sappy and
yes,
saccharine.
So Son of Stimpy was one of those
That's what
episodes.
I was thinking of.
Where Stimpy farts and it gets lost, and so the entire episode he goes on this journey trying to find his son.
But it's also like Ren seems to act as though that isn't a thing that happens, and Stimpy's lost his mind and he's made it all up, and he's like, "What? Your butt made a noise and it smelled funny."
Yes, exactly.
What are you talking about?
Yes, he was pushing the absurdity of it all just to
and then it's kind of like his version of like some kind of Christmas story or something, because then Stimpy leaves.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be at all surprised to find out that was an episode that aired around
probably
Christmas.
Because he comes home around Christmas and he's like a frozen ice block, and then his son Stinky comes in, but he's a man now, and he introduces him to his wife as a fish. Oh yeah, your fiance.
It's a dead fish.
It's a fish head. It's not but I'm not doing a very good job of talking to because I was like, I loved this show, and now I'm like,
none of this takes place in any kind of tangible reality. This is just the world of Ren and Stimpy. It's the Spoonco world that they created for this. And some of these episodes take there's one where they go through a black hole. And then they end up in this strange
alternate universe thing, and they just are slowly mutating in weird ways throughout.
That episode, it's one of my favorites, because if you look at it, objectively from with an artist's eye.
Yes, sir, Mr. Artist.
These backgrounds are incredible. Some of them are even Dali-esque.
Oh, for sure.
And just beautiful works of art in and of themselves. Like I mentioned while we were watching it, I was like, if I could have any animation cell, it would be from that episode of Ren and Stimpy, because you could frame it and it would look perfect as a framed work of art. There really was a lot of care, and you could tell that, the talent for this show was, it was just incredible.
Sure. What
they were able to accomplish. And, they weren't really sticking within their budgetary constraints, because like I'd mentioned, they constantly went over budget. But again, this was such a massive hit that it didn't really seem to matter.
Right.
Until it did. And unfortunately, I
imagine he just kept pushing and pushing both deadlines and the line until they were like, we can't do this anymore.
And from what I was able to gather, there was an episode that the FCC themselves said, absolutely, we are not airing this. And he went out of his way to put it on bootleg it himself just to get it out in the public, and that's what really
lovely. Well, I know that
them to fire him.
Yeah, I know the reason. There's two reasons why episodes are missing on Paramount Plus. So most of them are music licensing issues, but there are a couple that were banned by the FCC, so you can't stream them anymore. I assume you could probably buy them on DVD or something.
They're included in the DVD
but
sets.
Yeah, if it's streaming, they're not there.
Yeah, from what I understand, those DVD releases were all done with his approval. So, yeah, of course, those episodes made it in there. And it was another way to sell the DVD sets, because episodes you've never seen, banned up.
Well, especially when that would have been coming out. That was definitely during the whole unrated, too hot for TV type bullshit.
Yeah, this ain't your daddy's Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, it literally was. My dad loved Ren and Stimpy, and this is the reason I knew about it. But yeah.
So yeah, just be aware that this is a very gross series, and watching it as an adult, it really does kind of get under your skin, definitely more than it did, especially when I was a kid.
Objectively, there are several episodes that are very well constructed. The jokes are actually funny. There are endearing moments. The art is cool to look at. There are, but I do think that this is the first thing, and now it's made me kind of gun shy about going back and revisiting other things, that for the most part, aside from maybe 5 episodes that we watched, just doesn't hold up to what I remember them being.
Right.
And part of that is I've changed, hopefully, as a person from, 1991 to 2026. But I don't know. This is one of the first things that I've gone back and gone,
I can say that those episodes that were standouts still hold up.
No, they do.
They absolutely
totally
do. The Space Madness. We were watching that.
100%.
It's just as good as I remember.
Yes.
What was the one where where they're hosting like the wilderness show.
Oh yeah, Untamed World.
Untamed World.
Yeah,
That's
I
another one
really
that I was
like
just
that one.
Yeah,
that one's so good. I really like that one. I like Stimpy's Big Day. That's the one where
Stimpy's
he writes
Invention
the
still
song,
is great.
or he writes the jingle for the Gritty Kitty litter and goes to meet Muddy Mudskipper and all that.
Yeah.
That one's really good. Yes, Stimpy's Invention, obviously, with the Happy Happy Joy Joy song.
But
although that's now much more terrifying now, the whole taking away of Ren's will and imposing. Like, we keep coming back to this on this season, these different animated shows
when you dissect what's going on in some of these episodes, I mean, it really is fucked up. It really is.
Well, and they both do fucked up things to each other.
Yes.
You know, because obviously Ren is very hands-on, I guess you could say. He slaps the shit out of Stimpy, and Stimpy just has accepted this. But at the same time, Stimpy goes and invents this hat, that will make Ren happy. But it takes away his will and forces him to do things, which, again, we talked about that in Aeon Flux. We talked about that in a couple of other episodes this season, about that concept of taking away of free will and having this thing impose itself upon you, and how fucked that is.
Right. And that episode in particular, I mean, that's a great example of what I was saying when the animators here are going above and beyond what's necessary to animate a TV show, because the way that Ren's animations with that fighting the helmet, it's awesome. Like,
no, it's so well done, because you can see they really do a fantastic job of like capturing the inner struggle of this cartoon Chihuahua as he's terrified, enraged, and forced to smile through it all. And he's fighting it with everything he has. It's crazy.
That whole 12-second scene where he is being forced to smile and the way his face is contorting. I mean, it's masterfully done.
Sure. And then the sound, the Foley work really good for that too, because it's like bones breaking and shit like that as his smile is being ratcheted up on the side.
Really good. That's another thing that we need to mention is the music in this is, I mean, it's fantastic.
The music is great. All the Foley work is great. I really like the random, like, female type screams that happen sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it loud in the microphone. But no.
Yeah. And then there's also those episodes that are just, I would say by any standard, but definitely by today's standards, are just extremely inappropriate. Like the one where they go camping and Stimpy wants to skinny dip.
Yeah.
And he finally talks Ren into skinny dipping, and then this weird old man who loves skinny dipping comes into the picture, and he starts swimming with him and getting.
And then he calls his mom in there, and
there is some of that that's inappropriate. It probably I would say that this isn't for children.
No,
it might be for kids, but it's not for children.
It's not for children.
It's not for toddlers.
It doesn't belong alongside Rugrats.
No,
that's for sure. Or Doug.
No, I would say this is probably 8.
Depends.
8 or 9 years old is probably okay to introduce your kids to this. I mean, if you haven't already,
say
but
10.
Yeah, 10 definitely.
That's like 4th grade.
But this series came out right in like the middle of like, for some reason, and I say, I've said on this show before many times, my favorite era of creativity, 85 to 95.
Yeah.
Whether it be TV, movies, music, whatever. Like there was just so many weird shit.
Yeah.
There was so much weird shit happening at this era.
Sure.
I think when it comes to this type of like gross out humor, it certainly didn't start with Ren and Stimpy. And if, in my mind, it kind of stems from the Garbage Pail Kids. Which were around 85.
Yeah, but at the same time, I would say that the reach of the Garbage Pail Kids versus the reach of Ren and Stimpy can't really be compared. Because I didn't have any Garbage Pail Kid cards or anything. I had a Cabbage Patch Kid. But that was also more of a boy thing. And Ren and Stimpy was just kind of an everyone thing for whatever reason.
Right.
Like just everybody watched it and liked it.
I have very vague memories, especially probably late 80s, 88, 89 or so. I remember having Garbage Pail Kids cards, stickers, whatever. And I can say, just like Ren and Stimpy, there were some of them that I was like, even as a kid, I was like, man, that was too far. This is disgusting to look at. And I would throw them away.
Yeah.
Should have kept them.
Well, because we I don't know. You also got to look at our generation in particular, like we were exposed to shit far before. I mean, and I speak to myself especially, and I know you had this too, partly just because of who our parents were, or not my mom, but my dad. I was exposed to horror movies, and I watched heavy metal when I was like 7,
right,
and shit like that. So that isn't that surprising to me. But also look at books, like at the book fair. This is a little later on, but Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. The art in that was so special, and we had that thing of this is terrifying, but I can't stop looking at it.
Right. No, there were some
and with this, this is so fucking gross.
Unsettling images in those books.
Yeah,
it's still...
but I can't stop. Like, well, I think about some of those pictures sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, like, especially with those books, if you just read the stories, they're kind of whatever. But without those pictures, the pictures definitely like added something.
Sure,
to it.
Yes, it's like this very specific art style.
A Garbage Pail Kids or Ren
and Stimpy. That kind of that traffic or not traffic, that car wreck that you just can't stop looking at,
right? And
type thing.
It went well beyond just TV shows and movies. I mean, comic books. The toy lines were getting into the gross out shit. Like how many action figures and play sets were marketed with like slime and like
everything was oozing
shit.
Everywhere.
Right. There was a game one of my friends had where it was just a giant plastic nose and you had to pick boogers out of it. Oh,
like the long drippy. Yeah, I don't remember what that's called, but it is like long, almost like the little hand, what like you get in the quarter machines, the little eggs, the sticky hands. Yeah, well, the people listening can't see me doing the hand thing. Like you stick it to the wall and shit. It was made out of that stuff. Yeah, no, yeah.
But I do think that Ren and Stimpy kind of like bookended that whole gross out shit because by like 1996. We had Pokemon, and that's all it's been since then. I mean, it's just fine. The world is Pokemon ever since.
But then you look at it's no wonder that like Jackass was so popular later on that that Beavis and Butthead did as well as it did because like it was still our generation. I mean, it was people slightly older than us creating this stuff, but we were the consumers, and so we started with younger-ish stuff, and then moved on to Ren and Stimpy, and then you move on to Beavis and Butthead, and then you move on to Jackass later on, and it's just a ramping up of gross out, wow, look at this, oh, can you believe this shit type stuff.
Yeah, pushing boundaries.
It's not a surprise.
Just counterculture shit.
Yeah, fuck you, man.
Yeah, trying to push the line on what was acceptable. And,
push I
mean, to a point, I
don't know whether it's really good or not, but I was definitely a part of all of it and going, yes.
Creatively, the creative side of me, applauds it. But then the part of me that's like...
The parent side of me did not show our kid Ren and Stimpy.
We kind of need to live in a polite society.
Right.
Part of me is just like, God.
Like, to this day, I don't know that she's ever watched any Ren and Stimpy. That like, when I was going through when she was little and I was like, oh, we can share all the things we love with her. This was not...
That's for the best,
did not make the list. No.
But yeah, I stand by those first 2 seasons being just solid. Like I said, they're not all hits, but they're more hits than misses. And then once you get into season 3, it really is just not memorable.
It's a fucking nosedive in quality, man.
There's not a single memorable episode. I couldn't tell you the name of any episodes.
No.
In those seasons.
No. I don't know. In my head, it seemed like there were so many more good episodes, and obviously some of them are not on Paramount Plus. Most of the ones I liked that aren't there are for music reasons, not because they were banned.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
But even still, in my mind, I remember there being tons of Ren and Stimpy, and it was all fantastic. And really, I guess I just watched the same dozen or 2 dozen episodes ad nauseum.
Yeah.
And in those first couple of seasons, and that was really it. Because everything from season 3 on, I was like, I have no memory of this.
Well, the way that they
and this is terrible.
They did something that made it feel a little more substantial, which I think is just part of the genius of the show too, is, each episode was like 2 episodes. They were shorts. And then there would be like TV commercials that exist within the canon world of Ren and Stimpy.
Right.
Your logs, your powdered toast man.
Powder.
And they were all done in like this 50s style TV commercial. aesthetic that just anybody can enjoy. You know, it
Sure.
wasn't. It was absurd.
It was really
but-
like, again, you touched on the music briefly. The songs in this show and and when I say in this show, guys, I'm only talking about the first couple of seasons. I don't give a shit about 3 to 5, but they're so
the jingles that they come up with.
I mean,
for-
apparently Log was just the Slinky song, but I didn't know that as a kid. I
sure.
didn't know. Well, I wasn't around in the 1970s when Slinky commercials were on the fucking TV.
I mean, it's
I
not
knew the Log
it's not
song.
a one for one.
No, but it's that
ripoff,
thing.
But yeah, it's inspired by, sure.
But it's the whole everyone loves a Slinky, but yeah, Log is great. And the little, I don't know, all the little 50s style where the announcer talks to the kids and the kids talk back, through the commercial and stuff like that. It was, I don't know. Why do I get, I was so happy. I was like, oh yeah, I love this shit.
Yeah, like I said,
it's great.
Well, and for the time too, I mean, for those of you who weren't around in the 90s, like the 90s were absolutely full of like old 50s and 60s reruns.
Sure.
Your I Love Lucy's, your Andy
Blech.
Griffiths, your
Blech.
Different Strokes. All of these shows were being
That's from
played
the 70s.
constantly.
Yeah.
Mork
Well,
and Mindy.
Yeah, that was especially when Nick and Night came around. Like it was Nicktoons during the day and then it
Right,
turned to
so
Nick at Night.
We weren't
Munsters Mondays, I remember.
we weren't alive when those things were airing new episodes.
No,
but
I didn't know
we
this
were
shit.
there in the middle of all the syndication and shit.
Right.
So we were able to connect on Ren and Stimpy on that level too.
Well, and it also like it never, each bit didn't overstay its welcome, and having the commercials in there, y'all don't understand. Commercials used to be fucking awesome.
Oh yeah,
I loved commercial breaks. I was never upset when, oh no, god damn it, like my show.
To this
No.
day, there's still times when we'll just, what do you want to watch? We'll put on YouTube and just watch a 2-hour block of old commercials.
That's how you know
That
the
you're old.
marketing worked. Well, that just really seeped in because we get nostalgic for fucking commercials. This thing's trying to sell us shit.
Yeah, dude.
But, so to have that type of thing within Ren and Stimpy was fucking genius, because then it's also such pointed satire and parody of that type of shit. What is it? The sugar sod pops. That type of thing
Yes.
where it's
It's just a cereal commercial for grass, basically.
yeah. Oh, yeah. But
But it's high in fiber.
and it's played totally straight, but you can tell it's absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Which that's the
Or
the satire. That's
like the powdered
parody.
toast man commercial when the
Dude.
kid takes a bite and says it tastes like sawdust.
Yeah,
You know,
but even still, because you see the powdered toast when it's being shaken out of the can, it sparkles, and then it slowly becomes a piece of toast.
Yeah.
And when I tell you that child me wanted to eat that so fucking bad,
Yeah,
even though it tastes like sawdust, I didn't care.
Yeah, the commercials on Ren and Stimpy in and of themselves were effective commercials.
Absolutely.
For products that
Go around
didn't
singing the
exist.
log song all damn day.
Although I think they did eventually make powdered toast man cereal that was kind of like cinnamon toast crunch or
Oh.
some shit.
Oh, that's stupid. I didn't have it.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have worked unless it was sparkly dust in a can that became a piece of toast, because that's the whole thing.
Well, if nothing else, the cereal itself should have came in a tin and not a box.
I know.
But yeah, they didn't even do that.
But even that, there's weird shit in that, because like he rescues children by flying backwards, right? He flies butt first. And
his feet make like fists
yeah, they do.
as if he's Superman.
But the
flying.
children are like falling and they gently like land on his butt.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
There's a lot of
weird
butt
like
stuff.
adult butt to children face
Yes.
type stuff. And I'm like, I don't remember
Yeah,
this.
there's
This did not stick. I mean, obviously it was there, but it didn't stick out as excuse me?
very prominently drawn butts too.
Big fan of
Big pillowy butts.
big round butts. But hey, I mean, this is the early 90s, everybody was all about butts. But yeah, it's a lot of close-ups of very voluptuous butts.
Yeah.
Usually on guys.
Yes. Yeah. I would
Don't
say
get me wrong.
Most of the
it's-
characters in this are male.
Yeah, well, then there's two kinds of women. There's the super skinny 40s kind of magazine looking, classy ladies.
Right.
And whenever they appear, you get the
Right.
or whistles or whatever. And then there are the horrendously overweight body hair everywhere, teeth optional
Yeah.
women who,
They just look like some Appalachian nightmare.
I feel like because they're always wearing muumuus,
Yeah.
But they're not often mean. They're just played for,
Yeah. I mean, and lots of hairy pimples. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, this series definitely, it suffered once John Kay left the show.
And that sucks because objectively pretty garbage guy. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, he did get caught up.
I don't.
A bit of a scandal involving grooming girls that were underage that eventually came to work for him. I'm not going to get into that.
And
Let's just say that the guy's kind of a scumbag. And
that's one way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah, I agree. We don't need to go into details. Y'all can look it up.
Unfortunately, like most things that we loved from our childhood, we kind of have to separate the art from the artist.
To a point.
Because most of them were scumbags.
Well, I don't know about that. There's a good list of decent people. This isn't one of them.
No, it's not. But he did try to reboot this series back in, 2003 or something?
Did he?
Yeah, with the Ren and Stimpy adult party cartoon.
I don't know that.
You do know this because we've seen it.
Oh.
We just haven't seen it for a very long time.
Oh. I didn't even know you in 2003.
Yeah, back in... Well, no, but you knew me in 2004 when these things were being syndicated.
That's true.
Now, I remember these being aired. They were made for the Spike network.
Oh, Spike TV.
Spike TV.
Yeah, okay.
And I believe only 3 episodes actually got aired before they canceled it.
Jeez.
And I remember maybe catching 1 or 2 on Spike just out of curiosity, but I did end up buying the DVD set of those.
We have this?
A long time ago.
Okay.
We don't have it anymore.
Okay.
I've since gotten rid of it because you watched it with me and both of us were just like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, okay.
Who is this for? Because it not only did it just like push every boundary further and further. And, John Kay has said that, this is what Ren and Stimpy was supposed to be, but because of the FCC, I just couldn't
Well, then
do
I'm
it back
glad
then.
it wasn't.
Good. If this is what you were trying to make back then, I'm glad you didn't, because it's abhorrent what he did with these characters.
Really?
They're horned up all the time.
Oh.
The female representation in this is just like despicable. Because it not only that,
but you're not really one of those guys. It's just for you to say that.
No, I think it's just it was way too gratuitous.
No.
First of all, there was nudity that was uncensored.
I have no memory of any of this.
There's an episode where Ren and Stimpy are taking a bath with these 2 girls, and yeah, it goes way too far.
Okay.
And it just was upsetting to watch.
Like Ren was kind of into women sometimes, or at least realistic Chihuahua
and they were even like
women, but
horned
Stimpy,
up for each other.
Oh.
There were episodes where they were just too inappropriate with each other, Ren and Stimpy themselves, and I was just like, this is gratuitous to a point that is just like not even enjoyable.
I must have cast that out of my mind. I have no memory of that.
Yeah, and
but Stimpy was never even like interested in women.
Well,
or anything
version, and
he was interested in like Gritty Kitty Glitter and
again, this came out on DVD at the time when these were banned episodes, episodes never before seen. This went too far, and I was like, well, I got to see that, and it just
of course you were.
it just didn't ruin my experience that I had with Ren and Stimpy, but it just ruined my idea of what this man is and what his vision for this show.
And that is long before the allegations and all of that shit came out, because that didn't happen until like 2018 or something like that, right? So,
and watching that half-ass wannabe reboot of this series, like it really does after these allegations, it makes sense.
Yeah,
it just does. Yeah,
I'll always love Space Madness.
Yeah. And nothing's going to ruin those.
It kind of pleases me to know that they aren't what he wanted. Like I could enjoy something that he didn't want.
Yeah, right.
I like that idea.
Just know that if you want to watch all this, then yes, there is the adult party cartoon Ren and Stimpy series that has nothing to do with this original run. And I highly recommend you don't watch it. I don't think there's anything valuable. It's not Ren and Stimpy like you know or love them.
Right.
This is a completely bastardized version of the thing you know and love. Or if you haven't seen the original, don't watch this.
I wonder if he really did
with expectations that this is what Ren and Stimpy are.
Yeah. I wonder if he really did feel that way, if this is what it was always supposed to be, or if he was just super edgelordy about it and was like, yeah, well, you know, they didn't let me do it, so now I can do whatever I want, so I'm gonna like try and trash the name, you know, of what it was or something. I mean, I don't know.
I'm sure that version of Ren and Stimpy had its fans, and I really hope that when I say that it's fucking garbage, that it pisses every one of you off, because I don't care.
Well, I have no memory of it. I believe you when you say it, because throughout our life together, I am always going like, hey, have I seen this? Hey, you know, hey, what's that thing I like? Like you keep that information, because I don't know. If it didn't stick with me, I have no idea.
Yeah, and again, much like
take your
the
word
later
for it.
seasons of the original run, there was nothing memorable about that adult party cartoon series except the fact that it was just full of over the top nudity and bullshit.
That's weird.
That's its legacy.
That's weird. And I have no problem with nudity.
No,
but
do you remember the goddamn George Liquor show?
No.
Okay. We got to talk about this too.
We talk about George Liquor, because he's a reoccurring character.
Well, back in the late 90s, and it wasn't until about 2000, maybe 2001-ish, that I saw any of this. There was a web series for the Spoonco website.
Okay.
It was called The Goddamn George Liquor Show. And it was him and like Jimmy the Idiot.
Okay.
Or Billy the Idiot. Jimmy or Billy, one of those things. Who was his sidekick. And this was basically just like a really over the top grotesque version of like the Red Green Show.
Oh.
And
weird.
Yeah, so it was kind of hosted in that sort of manner, from what I remember. And again, I haven't seen these for 26 years.
Yeah,
now.
when was this?
I would have watched it around 2000, but I think it started in like 97, 98-ish.
Okay.
For the Spoonco website. But it wasn't until like the turn of the 2000s that I had friends with like internet access.
Yeah, computers were like a thing, and not in the computer lab. So
yeah,
you could
we
like
were
watch
seeking out this shit. Now, the George Liquor Show itself definitely contains some of those elements of the Ren and Stimpy adult party cartoon. It was kind of the way that they portrayed women and things, like they were nude, but it was always like hidden just so or something. There was no like just outright nudity in it. So you can kind of see where this might have been.
Well, and I'd argue there's a difference between George Liquor and Ren and Stimpy. Like Ren and Stimpy are both kind of more childlike in some ways. And George Liquor is in Ren and Stimpy sometimes, but he is very much like cameos. An adult, like, you know, he is an adult man. So I don't really care.
He's based off of John K's father.
Oh.
From what he said, and just how angry he would get sometimes. And when he was a kid and his dad would be fighting back and he's like, you'd see the veins popping out of his head and he would get so red. And I was terrified, but also I was like, this is kind of awesome.
Okay. Jeez.
But what do you say about this character? I mean, he's a very short,
very short-tempered,
very short in stature and temper. And he was violent.
Mm-hmm.
His co-host or whatever, his sidekick, you know, Jimmy the Idiot, was basically his Stimpy. I mean, he just beat the shit out of him all the time. He was constantly drooling.
Oh,
and
lovely.
Yeah, the drool that would come out of his mouth was kind of upsetting.
All right. All right.
But they were also like web cartoons. So the way we were watching them was off like a Flash type animation. So it was
like Homestar Runner.
Yeah, it was not the best animation. You can tell it had that Spoonco quality. The Ren and Stimpy quality was there, but it was just kind of the frames per second weren't adding up.
Sure.
So it was very
Well, you were probably
janky.
still on dial-up by that point, too.
Yeah,
so
yes.
Like, no, don't pick up the phone.
But yeah, I kind of recommend, if you have this weird fascination with what I'm talking about here, I'm sure it's on YouTube. You can probably find this online somewhere.
Yeah, I think I'm fine.
It's not for you, I promise.
I think I'm good. But talking about side characters from Ren and Stimpy, I mean, and little one-liners and stuff. My mom, who did not care for Ren and Stimpy,
Mine didn't either.
quotes it all the time, and I wonder at this point, does she even remember where the "no sir, I don't like it"? That's the horse.
Yeah,
That's the horse from Ren and
we
Stimpy. Does
quote
she
that
remember
all
that?
the time.
We do. But you've probably heard her do it too.
Yeah.
She does. That is a thing she does. And I truthfully don't know at this point. Because the only thing she liked about Ren and Stimpy was Muddy Mud Skipper, the song and watching him flop. Like that was it. And then she was like, okay, I'm going now. You know. But there are several reoccurring memorable side characters or little one-line things that
Haggis
pop up from
McHaggis.
the sure. Or the married couple, you know, the guy who is in the red like robe and he has the pipe, you know. He's in like the rubber nipple salesman episode. He's in The Boy Who Cried Rat, I think is what it's called, where Ren has to dress up as a mouse. You know, they're just...
He's in the one with the baboon.
Yes.
That's keeping them from getting their hog jowls.
Yeah, hog jowls. Well, it's Ren's favorite, you know. So that very classic kind of married couple from the 40s, 50s type thing. Almost a kind of, you know, like in Lady and the Tramp, how you never see Jim Dear and Darling. Like they're just kind of their feet or their like head. It's
Nanny from the Muppet Babies.
Sure. Well, it's that small perspective, right? And Ren and Stimpy are small. Lady was small. The Muppet Babies are small. So it's seeing the world from their like kind of point of view. So it's a lot of knees and below type stuff. Or in Roger Rabbit, the mom in that at the very beginning, the Baby Herman cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that type of thing.
Even still with that bare minimal of the character, they put a whole lot of personality into these.
Oh yeah, a lot of
not
detail.
necessarily the mom character, the wife character, because I don't think they have names.
I have no idea. He just they call each other like honey and dear and stuff like that.
But especially with the husband character,
his knobbly knees and all that.
But he's got the socks that are too high, and then he's got the suspenders holding the socks up
the
with
little
the garter
sock
belt.
suspender things.
And the way, like you mentioned, his pipe when he's talking, it's just the pipe bobbing up and down. And yeah, I mean the style to this. Yeah. They put a lot of character into these characters by only showing like these small little parts of the character. Yeah. And I mean, I think it's genius. Yeah.
And a lot of their performances, they're not even on the screen. You know, it's them talking and you see Ren or Stimpy reacting to what they're saying. But yeah, it's really interesting, like from a directorial standpoint.
Yeah. And you can't fake that. You can't. As an animator, as a writer, you can't fake that type of just genuine aesthetic. Yeah. I guess for the character.
Yeah. It's very distinct. Yeah, I don't know. Ren and Stimpy, to my mind, is a conglomeration of different things, different from the music to the little commercial breaks to the memorable side characters to a couple of actually really heartfelt moments from time to time. I think of really one of the only ones that, of course, immediately turns violent is when Stimpy finally gets enough of Hollywood and he realizes he just wants to go home to where Ren is.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
don't blame him.
And Ren has been depressed this whole time, you know, trying to make up. He like there's a pillow that kind of looks like Stimpy for a while, and he starts talking to him, and then the pillow talks to us. Yeah, but when he comes back, there is an actual moment there.
Yes.
And then, you know, Ren asks about the $47 million and Stimpy's like, I gave it all away. So, of course, Ren has to start slapping him again.
Right.
So, but there is a moment.
Yeah, there are little moments in the show where you see the genuine, like, friendship that they actually do have. And it's usually on the Ren side of things because Stimpy is Stimpy, right? Stimpy loves Ren. He doesn't hide it.
Unabashed.
It's his friend and he loves him and he wants to help him and he wants to do whatever he wants to do and be wherever he is or whatever. But it's the scenes where Ren is without Stimpy that you really see like how much he actually does truly care.
He just sucks at showing it. He keeps it inside, and it's not until Stimpy's gone to go look for his fart son or to go off and be famous in Hollywood that when Ren is left, Ren is not, he doesn't do well alone.
Right. And you know, if you take something like, if you compare this to, because you and I, our favorite character in this show was Ren.
Yeah.
Now, if you compare this friendship to something akin to like a Beavis and Butthead,
Sure.
Beavis is our favorite character.
I know, but
for
he's
all of the same
Stimpy.
reasons. But Butthead is just, when he's not without Beavis, he's not showing any signs
That's true. He's fine.
Yes, he's perfectly fine and doesn't care. Whereas Ren absolutely falls apart without Stimpy.
He does. Yeah, he does. And another thing of the music we've touched on a little bit, but the use of classical pieces in this is genius. Like Night on Bald Mountain, Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies, things like that at least at my age I recognized from Fantasia.
Well, it elevates the quality.
Sure.
So
and then you
much.
see it and that's another thing it's familiar because I knew them from Fantasia, even though obviously they had existed prior to, but they had been put together.
Sure.
So, but here is my expectation of what that song put to cartoon should be.
Yes.
But it's not, so this is exciting.
And then it's immediately counterbalanced with yodeling.
Yeah, there's a lot of yodeling in this.
Yes. Much like the little guy on Price is Right.
Yeah.
That would climb the mountain.
And then fall off.
Yes, that's the type of music we're talking about.
It's a crazy mix of things.
Well, and it makes sense too when you watch this show. You need to understand that like John Kay is Canadian, so there's a lot of Canadianness in this series with the shaven yak, with the
yak shaving day.
Yeah, the kilted Canadian Mountie,
the mounted quilted yaksman or whatever.
Sure,
the Mounties.
Yes,
Yeah.
And there's a lot of just like Canadian visually funny bits.
There's like lumberjacks around.
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
log
Yeah.
is kind of akin to.
It's big, it's heavy, it's wood.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it also has this completely obvious like American 50s satire to it.
It's a combination of a whole bunch of different fucking things that if you listed it all out, you'd be like, this sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Well, even in like the episodes that are heavily like science fiction-y, like their spaceship just looks like a one of those toys from the 50s, like a toy rocket.
Well, half the time you can see the strings because it's a TV show that they're watching,
Right.
Commander Hork and Cadet Stimpy.
But I mean, just like visually, it looks like a 1-for-1 model of like an old toy from the 50s.
Yeah, and you could just this is like the imagination of a kid playing with the toy, and this is the adventure they're going on.
And this is an insanely wildly creative series that probably I think everyone would have been happier if this was on MTV.
Sure.
Because he would still have the FCC regulations, but he could still push it further than he would have been able to for Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Especially at the time. And MTV in 1991 was absolutely just giving any animated anything a shot.
Well, I mean, it ended its run on MTV in 96.
Oh, okay. Well,
so it
that
went
makes
from
sense.
Nickelodeon to MTV.
So now this was the later seasons though, right?
Yeah.
The ones that unfortunately, like I mentioned, this.
I wonder if that's why. Okay, I need to look into it. I don't actually know when it moved to MTV, but I wonder if it was when he was fired. Because that would explain why I only ever saw the first 2 seasons on Nickelodeon.
If those last 3 seasons are what they put on MTV, then that just proves that this series absolutely lived and died with John Kay.
Yeah.
Because those episodes are just not good.
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't know. I didn't look it up. I didn't do my job. I don't know when it comes up. When it moved to MTV, but that's interesting.
Who is this for? If you picture like the one person in your head.
John Kay. Parts of it are for me. Both child me and me now.
Yeah.
Most of it is not.
Okay.
There are a handful of episodes that I will forever love. But overall, and like I said, it's dismaying because I had a bunch of toys. We had board games. We had the video game. We had, Ren and Stimpy was a thing, man.
Yeah. And I can, say I had the Sega Genesis game.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
And all the gross out video games of the early we don't need to go into the like Genesis. The Genesis had a ton of really gross video games on Boogerman and whatnot. Yeah, no, outside of like 5 episodes, I think I'm good for life.
Yeah, I think that I do want to buy the DVDs, but I think I'm just going to buy the first 2 seasons and be done.
Find him used. I don't really want to give him money. I'm not sorry about that.
No, not at all. I think that this series is for people that view animation as a legitimate form of art. If you're aspiring to be an animator yourself, or you're just interested in animation at all, you can't pass this opportunity up.
It's very unique.
It is kind of a masterclass on animation and what it's capable of.
I would say developing your own voice through your art type thing.
Yes. Yeah. And also with this series being so unique to itself with the art style and the animation, the music, everything that just kind of congeals this into what makes Ren and Stimpy special.
Yeah.
You could absolutely learn a lot. And it really did influence a lot of artists and creators, not only with the likes of the SpongeBobs, but also like Meat Canyon. If you like Meat Canyon, you will love Ren and Stimpy.
Which I don't. It's gross. Like, props to him for like the detail and all of that, but it's not for me. Meat Canyon.
Yeah, there's just so many different sources of creative animators out there that were inspired by this. And I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't watch this series while also understanding that it may not be for you as far as the subject matter goes. But if you want to watch something that really just says, hey, create your own style. Yeah. I think Ren and Stimpy was definitely one of the pioneers of that, because it was one of the more different feeling to watch series.
Yeah, like we said, it's a conglomeration of so many different things that on paper, if you listed them out, would be like, there's no fucking way this goes together.
Everything else felt by the book.
What are you talking about?
When it came to animation, and if you wanted to step outside of those Saturday morning cartoon animated Hanna-Barbera style things, you had to go to the likes of Ren and Stimpy and Beavis and Butthead. Basically anything on MTV at that time anyway. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, if you have any interest in animation at all, or if you're just curious and you've never watched it, go back and watch them.
I'd be really curious to hear from somebody who didn't watch it like back when it was a thing and they were kids.
But are also our age.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
I could see some like, weird little kids getting into Ren and Stimpy these days, especially like I said, since Meat Canyon is so popular. Yeah. I think that, kids these days could get a lot out of Ren and Stimpy, but I think if you're 30 to 50 years old and you haven't watched it, I don't know how you avoided it, but yeah, check it out. Like,
and then let us know, what do you think?
It's a blast it's a blast from the past that I highly recommend you watch. What would you say, like, is the legacy of Ren and Stimpy?
Well, I think it's definitely shadowed now.
I'm saying the cartoon versus the man behind the cartoon.
Ugh. Well, because it's only really good when he was there. That's what really sucks. Yeah. That unfortunately for me, for better or worse, is wrapped up in the legacy. Because I now know, which I didn't before we started prepping for this podcast episode, just how bad it was after he left.
Well, I refuse to believe that Ren and Stimpy doesn't exist outside of the scandal. Because to me, it absolutely does.
No.
It's still influencing people that are perfectly fine not grooming children. You know what I mean? Like, this is not specific to that demographic of person.
It's also like how he handled it. Anyways, I'm not getting into that. It's such a unique time and a unique thing, but also fit in perfectly with a bunch of other weird, gross out stuff that was all happening around the same time. But it did stand apart as one of the more iconic, like, progenitors of a lot of that type of stuff. So the episodes that I do love. but it's like a perfectly choreographed dance of madness between the way all the different things work so well together, from the voice performances to the different art styles to the music to the Foley work to like everything.
It really all does function well together in ways that a lot of things don't.
So as far as being a unique mashup of all this other stuff, I think that hopefully would be the good side of the legacy, but I don't think you can totally extricate the rest of it. Because like if it had continued on and was just as good after he was fired, I think we'd be having a different conversation. Right. But it didn't, so we can't.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
So that sucks.
But, if you're going to watch it, just know
But I'll always love Space Madness.
There's definitely a shit stain on the legacy of Ren and Stimpy, unfortunately. And I could see, like, I'm seeing this thing on social media more and more where, like, Gen Z and, like, even people that are slightly younger than us are starting to do these, like, 90s nooks. Have you seen this?
No, but you've talked to me about them.
I don't know what this phenomenon is, but like there are people that
are nostalgic for a time that they didn't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're
it was pretty good, guys. Not gonna lie.
They're building little corners of their like homes with like VCRs and old like console TVs, CRT televisions, and then just an insane amount of VHS tapes and stuff. And if you're one of those people, definitely check out Ren and Stimpy because
the VHS had an orange, like the clamshell VHS.
Yeah,
it was like orange around the side.
I think all Nickelodeon releases were in the orange.
Okay, yeah, probably Nickelodeon tape. Orange. Yeah.
All right, well, I guess we can call that an episode. Henrietta, where can people find you?
Damn it. Henrietta is not on social media. Next.
Jess.
Oh, hi.
Where can people find you?
Oh my God, I just got here, you guys. I'm Jess Moon. I'm at Jess_Jess Moon on Instagram. I do have a publishing house, Shadow Spark Publishing. I'm currently revamping the website because I felt like it. So, but we have a lot of fiction, a lot of different things, really good quality reads. So, if you read, come check us out.
Yeah. And aren't you like, you're going to be making one of those, what kind of website is it you're talking about?
Oh, NeoCities?
NeoCities.
So yeah, I recently discovered the Indie Web, and because I coded long ago, right? And I still code a lot of specific parts of the Shadow Spark website. It is a Squarespace site, but like I go in and remove a bunch of the pre-made shit and code it myself because I like it better. Right. But yeah, no, NeoCities is like this whole thing, like GeoCities long ago. Mm-hmm. Where it's totally free and you can create like a turn of the millennium style website, and you do have to code it entirely yourself, but it is all open source, so it's this kind of community thing. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Like YouTube documentary on this.
It came up under recommended for some reason, and
probably because we watch endless hours of 90s TV commercials.
Maybe, I don't know, but it really is this. It's a super neat corner of the internet where they are trying to bring back what the internet once was, like that vibe, that feeling, the wandering into a chat room and just having a conversation, the blogs, all of that shit. So yeah, I am. I don't know what it's going to be quite yet, but yeah, I'm going to do one because that's fun.
I have a feeling that's where for me. All the humans are going and the bots are just on like the regular internet now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
so yeah, I am going to do that too.
All right. You can find me on Instagram.
Who are you?
What was it? Maxwell Tuttle, I think. You can find me on
Maxwell Tuttle's on where. Okay, give me his handles.
Maxwell _Tuttle.
We don't know who that is.
Yeah, I go by Tuttles online.
Tuttles with a Z. Yeah, because you're hardcore.
You can follow the podcast at the Pretty Little Podcast on Instagram. We've got the YouTube channel. You can follow at youtube.com/at the Pretty Little Podcast 69420. Thanks to everybody who downloads, listens to this. I don't know what it is about us, but we are growing. So that's good. It's very good news. And I definitely appreciate it. That means you guys are listening, you're telling people and all of that good shit. Like, comment, subscribe. You can interact with us on Instagram as well. And I will, answer questions if you send them to me.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So we see you next time. Stay pretty.
Oh, stay little. I'm not fucking doing it.